Hello and welcome back to Blackwatch Intel. My name is Crashy, and today I want to talk about the xQc situation. So, for people that know me, it's not really a secret. I'm a pretty big xQc fan. I find him to be amazingly entertaining. I think he's a really cool player. There's something about tank play it's just kind of innately not that interesting to me. And, there's really not a lot of tanks that I would go out of my way to watch stream. I think right now the only tanks that I watch stream are Muma and xQc. And those are, those are my two tanks, the two Texas teams, the teams that I'm rooting for the most, and xQc being the tank that I resonate the most with or decide to find a lot of enjoyment in his stream. But undeniably, there's a problem, and the problem is that xQc is the person that he is, and being a person that feels like I am the exact same way that Felix is, it's really tough because I'm watching what he's going through and in the situations that he's put in and the decisions that he makes. Don't make it sound like I think he's a victim. The decisions that he makes in those situations. And it's like what happens with me, but a billion times intensified. Thousands of people on you, millions are, paying attention, millions of dollars on the line, hundreds of thousands of people every time, you step on stage or you don't step on stage. All these anecdotal thoughts and ridiculous, it's noise, man. It's a lot of noise. And every time he gets himself in trouble, I look at the situation, I look at what he said, I look at what he did, and I look at it and I'm like, from the professional standpoint, if I'm thinking suit and tie, if I'm thinking about the league, if I'm thinking about the investors and the money and the companies and the advertisers, it has to be done. You know what I mean? Putting a person like Felix in their place has to be done. But when I'm sitting there as myself, when I'm being Joseph, and I'm looking at these situations, I look at Felix and I look at these, these articles, and I look at the things that he said, I look at these Twitch clips, and I think to myself, man, it's really not that bad. It's really not that bad. Was it offensive or whatever he did? Was it wrong? Should he be doing that? No, not really, but it really wasn't that bad. And so, the latest controversy being that xQc essentially said some personal information about another player in the Overwatch League. I'm sure you all know by now that Muma is gay or homosexual. And, it was in a pretty odd, derogatory type way. Was very, in my opinion, very clearly not meant to be a straight up attack, but more of in the moment kind of swing banter. And then I don't know if the realization that he hit was genuine, but it just seemed like typical xQc crap. He lets something fling, he says it, he doesn't care instantly right after. And trust me, I do get that. And like I said, suit and tie, pen on paper, it's unacceptable. It's not something that they can stand for. It hurts the business. It hurts when the advertisers see this. It hurts when the owners are wondering why, their players and the people, the big money investors that are buying into esports are wondering why the players associated with their brand are behaving so inappropriately in this massive space that's, growing and seeing something as crazy and new as the Overwatch League. And so, like I said, it's unacceptable and it can't be tolerated. But at the same time, thinking as a person like I am and looking at these situations, it almost never bothers me what he did. And I mean me. I'm not saying the masses. I'm not saying some people. I'm not saying the particular things that he's doing don't affect others. I'm just saying I never really care all that much. I don't really think it's always that big of a deal. And so I think looking at all these situations with xQc and kind of the wrong that he's done, I look at this one And I think, man, this one might be the worst one, because it just came out as discriminatory and very derogatory. And even so, I don't think that xQc is homophobic. You know what I mean? Calling xQc homophobic is probably as valid as saying that PewDiePie was an anti-Semite. You know what I mean? It's kind of baseless based on some things, that happened or that were said. Like, it was xQc moments, It's Trump's locker room talk. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I don't know. It just is what it is. Like, Felix is the person that he is. And from my perspective, I respect that. I respect him either not being able to change or not wanting to change. In any case, I feel like I know what to expect when I see him. And whenever, I'm soaking him in as a personality. But unfortunately, that's not how the business side works. And I gotta say, just touching on this topic, because I find it to be particularly interesting, because this is a side of the Overwatch League, this is a side of professional esports that, it happens. It just simply happens. And in my personal opinion, and based on the knowledge that I have, in my professional opinion, I want to say that I don't think that xQc is going to be a player that stays in the Overwatch League. I think that he's a very skilled player. I personally love his personality. I think he has a very strong player brand and is an amazing potential asset for the league. But he just gets in trouble all the time, and he can't seem to find that balance between real Felix and wild and zany and, kind of the more caged version of himself that needs to exist in order to participate in the league. And thus, I could see him stepping away from the league after the first season and focusing on streaming. I could see him, unfortunately being let go from the Dallas Fuel and potentially seeking other options, maybe playing in the Contenders League, where it gives him the ability to create a career out of Overwatch esports, while also primarily, at that point, maybe primarily half 50-50, focusing on his career as a streamer. I'm a huge xQc fan, and it just kind of like happened. I stumbled across his stream from Twitch clips. I started watching his stream, I started following him in tournaments, and then I just got to this point where I was like, man, I don't even like watching Tank that much, but this guy is just entertaining. And when you think xQc, I feel like the first thought is entertainment and funny, or even kind of annoying. Like, that's the first thought. It doesn't matter who you are, you're gonna get one of those thoughts. And second to that, you think, phenomenal Tank player or Overwatch League player. And so the position that Felix is in is a tough one. He's battling himself. He's fighting the deep down burning desire to be a very strong player and a player worthy of the Overwatch League, while being conflicted by his own personality. And so what is a person supposed to do in that situation? I simply don't know. I think, like I said, the best solution for him will be to step away from the Overwatch League eventually. I personally don't want to see it. I would much rather see him find a team or be on a team or stay with this team and continue to improve in the professional scene, both in and out of game. I personally would love that, but I think the undeniable objective truth about this entire xQc situation, not just particularly with the controversial things that happen and the things that he says, is that he is at this point in time a much better streamer than he is a professional player. And I don't mean that from the standpoint of skill, I just mean that from the logistics of it all. I mean, his stream is very popular, his team is doing very poorly, and he did not even see play during the Houston Outlaws game. And that's kind of, based on the model, based on the team's decisions, the coach's decisions, the coaching staff, and based on, like I said, the logistics and numbers of his stream that I'm comparing. So what's next for xQc? Well, if you didn't know, the Overwatch League decided to ban him from the next 4 matches, giving him that suspension and essentially the Dallas Fuel as a company has decided to extend that suspension for the entirety of Stage 1. I think if I understand correctly, the player contract is for 1 year of the Overwatch League, and I don't think there is any kind of mid-season clauses. There might be. I don't know if there's a mid-season recruiting, section for the Overwatch League, mid-season draft things. I haven't really heard much about that. But if there is, I think that should be something that the Dallas Fuel is considering. I think it should be something that Felix is considering, and I think getting Felix to a place where he can coexist in this professional world while being himself is probably priority number one, and definitely the decision and course of action that I hope that he and the Dallas Fuel are able to take. The Dallas Fuel, my second favorite brand in the Overwatch League, definitely excited to continue to root for the Texas team. They have some great personalities, they have some incredible players, Felix included, and I hope to see them thrive. I hope to see them prosper. So this is a tough moment for the Dallas Fuel. Morale is low, the records are low, but we're in the second week, and so with an 0-4 record, you have emotions that are going to come out, and so for xQc, unfortunately that played out in a way that was not favorable for him. So these are my thoughts. I would genuinely love to hear yours. It seems like the people that I talk to are half and half. You either love xQc or you hate him. Is this bad for him? What is he supposed to do? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm genuinely curious. So I appreciate you checking out this video. Please don't leave without leaving a like and subscribe for future content. I appreciate it again, and I'll see you on the next video.